In a country where the average citizen struggles to afford 3 square meals, Senate President Ojy Okpe's recent claim that Nigerian senators are struggling after leaving office has ignited a firestorm. The statement comes at a time when discontent over political privilege and economic inequality is nearing boiling point. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu's appointment of Abdullahi Ganduje, the embattled APC chairman and former Kano state governor, as chairman of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria FAAN has fueled further accusations of elite recycling and reward for loyalty governance. When analyzed together, these two developments reflect deep-rooted concerns about the disconnect between Nigeria's ruling class and the people they claim to serve. Akpabio's controversial remark, "Ex-senators are suffering." Senate President Ojy Okpe, during a public function, boldly stated that many Nigerian senators struggle financially after leaving office. His comment, likely meant to highlight the supposed challenges of post-political life, was instead received as a tone-deaf assertion in a country where millions live below the poverty line. At a time when public trust in the National Assembly is already fragile given recurring reports of bloated budgets, secret allowances, and legislative complacency, Akpabio's remark landed like salt on a national wound. Critics argue that senators receive generous severance packages, lucrative pensions, and continue to wield influence that translates to business opportunities and board appointments. Therefore, the idea that former lawmakers are suffering appears deeply out of touch with the harsh realities faced by average Nigerians: teachers owed salaries, graduates unable to find jobs, and traders crushed under inflation. Public reaction on social media has been scathing, with many calling for a review of political compensation structures and increased transparency in how public officials manage post-office privileges. Akpabio's remarks also expose a broader narrative of political entitlement, a belief within Nigeria's ruling elite that serving in office should automatically guarantee lifelong financial comfort. This runs counter to the spirit of public service and fuels cynicism about the motivations of those seeking political office. If senators, despite their salaries and perks, struggle after office, what then happens to civil servants, artisans, and entrepreneurs who have no such safety nets? Tinubu's appointment of Ganduje, recycling controversy or political strategy. Simultaneously, President Bola Tinubu's appointment of Abdullahi Ganduje as the chairman of FAAN's governing board has reignited debates about Nigeria's culture of political recycling and patronage. Ganduje, who is already the national chairman of the ruling APC, served as Kano's governor for 8 years amid corruption controversies, including the viral dollar-in-the-pocket video scandal. To critics, this new appointment signals yet another instance of rewarding political loyalty over merit or reform-driven leadership. FAAN, which oversees aviation infrastructure and airport management across Nigeria, is a critical institution for national development and international reputation. Aviation stakeholders have expressed concerns over placing such a sensitive agency under the oversight of someone with zero background in aviation and a checkered ethical record. In a sector already plagued by underfunding, inefficiency, and safety concerns, this appointment raises questions about governance priorities. Is this move about reform or control? From a political standpoint, the appointment is strategic. Ganduje remains influential in northern APC circles, especially in Kano, a key battleground state. Tinubu may be consolidating his northern alliances ahead of 2027 by offering strategic appointments to loyalists. But the public cost of such political games is high. It erodes institutional integrity and deepens the perception that public offices are party reward systems, not platforms for national development. A growing disconnect between leaders and the people taken together, these events paint a troubling picture of governance priorities in Nigeria. While everyday Nigerians grapple with the electricity shortages, food inflation, and insecurity, the political elite appear increasingly absorbed in self-preservation and mutual reinforcement. Statements like Akpabio's and appointments like Ganduje's signal that political comfort continues to trump public accountability. Civil society groups, journalists, and young voters are pushing back. Platforms like the morning show anchored by Ojy Okpe have amplified the hypocrisy of these developments. From social media to community forums, Nigerians are demanding answers. What kind of leadership does the country need? Who is truly serving, and who is simply benefiting? The idea of public office as a sacrifice is rapidly losing credibility, when former senators are portrayed as victims and ethically embattled politicians are recycled into strategic appointments. The implications for 2027 are profound. The electorate is increasingly aware, increasingly vocal, and increasingly frustrated. If the political elite fail to reset the narrative shifting from entitlement to service, the next wave of voter rebellion may not come through traditional party lines, but through civic movements, legal activism, and digital mobilization, reclaiming public leadership. What Nigeria needs now is a return to public service as duty, not reward. Leaders must stop speaking from insulated towers and start walking among their people, listening, learning, and legislating with empathy. The cost of ignoring the Nigerian people is rising, and history shows that when enough citizens lose trust in leadership, revolutions, digital or physical, follow. Don't just watch, engage, share, comment below. Should political compensation be restructured? Should appointments, like FAANs, be based strictly on merit? Like this video, subscribe for weekly political breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss the real story behind the headlines.
The chief of Umukwata, aka Kwa State, Ijoba.
Oh, good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning? Fantastic. You're always having fun. Good morning, Vimbai. How are you this morning?
Samuel, my government.
Are you minding these two people? We're calling me government.
On your mandate, we stand.
Our internet. Oh, no. I know that is only for Tinubu. This is look at our cameramen. Are you people serious? Are you joining them? Why did you do that? Well, all right. Oh, God, we're missing Dr. Patty today. Be serious, guys. Well, let's begin what's trending. Good morning to you, viewers. We begin what's trending with reactions to the appointment of former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ojy Ganduje, who has been appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the chairman of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. Ganduje's appointment came just weeks after his resignation from his APC leadership role. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, inaugurated the new governing board of FAAN in Abuja on Wednesday. Ganduje, speaking on behalf of the board, expressed gratitude and pledged to work closely with the ministry, adhere to best governance practices, and ensure the board operates within its legal boundaries. Let's take a look before we take some reactions.
Honorable Minister, we are showing will ensure effective institutional governance. Honorable Minister, we are showing passenger increasing expectation, passenger satisfaction. I have to thank Mr. President for appointing us for this important assignment, showing the new home agenda is on course, and FAAN will be in the forefront. Thank you. And God bless. Thank you.
All right. I mean, you know that this video this appointment has sparked a wave of reactions, especially because Ojy Ganduje was reported to have stepped down from his APC leadership role. I mean, as there were some reports bandied around whether or not it was because he was ill or, just different reports. But now he is the chairman of FAAN. Let me take this reaction from King Premier, who wrote, "From this appointment, it shows he didn't resign on his own. Give him a more juicy appointment instead of being at the receiving end of insults and mob action. And let's face it, with the coalition being established, he doesn't have what it takes to lead the APC. It's clear Tinubu is already strategizing. But may Nigerians come out of this victorious?" Dr. Izu wrote, "In my country, those long overdue for retirement are still occupying offices, amassing wealth for their grandchildren, while capable youth remain unemployed." I actually liked Dr. Izu's tweet, Rufai. Your thoughts?
Ojy, they said he was not feeling well. That's why he left.
That's why the reports we got.
That was the report we got. He did it for health
Chairman
reasons.
from chairman to chairman.
But now it's from chairman to chairman, double chair. So it just shows that politicians are in this game for the patronage. They might have other reasons why they probably pulled him out there. And his position, saying he cannot continue to act in the APC. But obviously, it shows that Ganduje is not ready to retire. So he's still going at it in FAAN. It's a position where he's serving the country. He's been pushed out of his position as the chairman of the APC. So I think the cycle continues for me as far as I'm concerned. Because the argument I made then is that I'm not sure that they're throwing Ganduje away. And the truth is, this has proven that argument beyond reasonable doubt. So the talk about, health and everything, it is obvious now that he's still capable to be able to perform as the chairman of FAAN. Mm-hmm. Good luck to him. It's another position.
Yeah.
He carries on. He will still support President Tinubu. And his support, in all fairness to President Tinubu, is needed at a time like this where they will need to fight for the soul of Kanu. Quite a handsome number of votes comes out of Kanu. Because Kanu is probably one of those states out of the KKK trio where if you play your cards right, you can get close to 1 million votes. And that can actually tip the election balance. And Ganduje holds some ground there as the former governor. So let's not deceive ourselves. I mean, Kwankwaso got close to over 900 and close to 1 million votes, over 900,000 and something votes in Kanu in the last election. Ganduje is the man that will probably be able to help them fight for it. So all of this is just political positioning. So I knew he wasn't going to get away out of their fold in a hurry. So congrats to him. Enjoy his position.
Really, yes, congratulations.
Congratulations to him. We wish him all the best at FAAN. So this appointment came in January, if you recall, and yesterday was the official inauguration, or is it resumption of duties? And then his resignation had come in the month of June. So the question for me is, during that 6-month period, what were the conversations that were had?
This is the question.
What was the strategy at play? Mm-hmm. So it just goes to show you that there's a grand master plan by the master strategist himself.
Yes.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sir Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this is how it unfolds. And, everybody compares it to what's happening with the coalition and the opposition parties and so forth, who seem to just sort of be taking things spontaneously one day at a time. We're not seeing sort of the grand plan from them. So with this now, we continue to await. The newspapers this morning were speculating about potential candidates to fill the position of APC chairman. And besides that, you also find, so you have those who are campaigning to fill his seat as chairman. And then, of course, there's a conversation that's still lingering around the vice presidency. Is Kashim Shettima safe for 2027 as a vice presidential candidate? The official position is that they're waiting for what is it called? The party convention. Yeah. And when the president gets his ticket, then he will do the formality of advising us as to who he has chosen as his running mate. They've done a lot to douse all of the speculation and sort of, frenzy that was happening around, Kashim Shettima not being brought back as vice president. But for me, that picture of Ganduje in, was it Gombe State? What state was it? Yeah. Nasarawa State, mm-hmm. Being booed out of the venue and, being rushed into his car and so forth. That's the image that sticks in my head, and that makes us realize that, yes, as much as there's a grand master plan, not all is well within the APC and the various groups of the party. So
can we say there's nothing hidden under the sun? The truth will come out. But congratulations, Abdullahi Ganduje. Yeah. He looks pristine. He looks very healthy.
Yes.
What can we say? Congratulations. We'll take another story now. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has stirred controversy after stating during plenary on Wednesday that contrary to popular belief, many Nigerian senators face financial difficulties after leaving office. Akpabio made the comment as lawmakers paid tribute to Caleb Zaghi, former Kaduna South Senator, who died on June 25th after a brief illness. Akpabio's accession followed Senator Oyinaya Abaribe's revelation that Zagi, who served from 2007 to 2011, had to seek financial help from former colleagues during his illness in a bid to dispel the public misconception that lawmakers amass significant wealth in office. Akpabio echoed Abaribe's sentiment, emphasizing that the public perception of lawmakers accumulating immense wealth is misleading. Let's take a look.
To the discussion on the demise of distinguished Senator Khalid, and you pointed out your personal contribution during his illness. So for this, the Senate appreciates you. But you made a profound statement that out there, Nigerians think that senators, a lot of money is spent on National Assembly, that once you step out of the National Assembly, you are looking for money to even treat yourself, which shows the fallacy of all the insinuations and innuendos thrown at the legislators. So I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people, because some people think that we come here to make money. They don't know that we come here to sacrifice for the growth of the nation so we can leave a better country for future generations. Thank you for that elucidation.
Rufai is laughing. You sing. I love sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
That is the word, sacrifice. Really sacrifice. Is that what we're going to keep hearing? Let me take this tweet from High Chief, who wrote, "Struggle after office. Nigerian senators earn more than most lawmakers in the world, with zero results to show: fat allowances, lifetime pensions, luxury cars, and zero accountability. Please save us the pity party. It's the people who are truly struggling, not you." I mean, that's a direct response to Senate President Godswill Akpabio. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. How much do these lawmakers earn? Is it? I've heard that it's about 30 million. Our international correspondent.
Wow. Well, do you know what? First and foremost, we extend our condolences to Senator Zagi and his family. But let's not conflate issues. There is a real reason why many people are jostling to become a politician in this country. People are jostling to become senators and governors and Senate presidents because these are lucrative positions. Let's not play with each other and act like there isn't serious money to be made that is being made by these people. As the tweet said, Nigerian lawmakers, Nigerian politicians are among the highest paid on the African continent and in the world. So if we're talking about Senator Zagi, the dearly departed who died, if the implication is penniless or without a lot of wealth, that is because that's a financial management issue, not because he didn't make a lot of money while he was a senator, because they all do. And that's why there's so much jostling and fighting and politics behind the politics. That's why even as we were saying during the show, as we were listening to Jacob Mark, he talked about how, we shouldn't be focusing on the elections, but the reason why people focus on the elections is because of power and money. That is what drives this country, power and money. So the Senate president should be guided, or perhaps he should not receive a salary anymore if it's not that much money anyway. But
Rufai was quite apt by in terms of, when we think about pension and what people earn after leaving office, sometimes, it behooves on the lawmakers to put into action what they're using their money for, right? We've heard a lot of, things like the sports people, whatever they do with their money. But for me, this sort of sentiment that lawmakers don't make money, they don't have enough money after they leave office, it's kind of sad to hear.
It's terribly unfortunate because, in the words of Dr. Abati, politicians should have a second address.
Yes.
You don't come into politics to make money. You're not supposed to. Anyway, let me speak idealistically. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to come to politics to serve, and then you're supposed to go back to whatever your profession was. Look at Rishi Sunak. He's gone back to Goldman Sachs. That's his profession. You find several people go back to whatever they're supposed to, because you're a politician or holding political office is not supposed to be a career. But what you find is that you have former governors or you have people who have done well in life who go and retire specifically in the Senate chambers. What do? They then sit down amongst themselves and they agree on lucrative committees, because within themselves they're also fighting for committees, because through those committees then they have oversight over various budgets and various projects that will can benefit them in one way or another. So, to say senators struggle after office is more of a reference of one's inability to manage whatever it is they saw there. And if they earn so little, why is it that, remember, was it last year?
Yes.
When we asked for their salaries, it became, remember, it turned into a huge issue. We asked for a simple, tell us how much you earn. And the issue was dragged on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It should be easy to publicly disclose. How much is this salary anyway, if it's so little, And let's not talk of, the guest house in Abuja. Let's not talk about the convoy of SUVs and so forth. Goodness me, so little. I kind of feel bad for them. Imagine if you had to just have a convoy of SUVs. That sounds like suffering.
I mean,
convoy of SUVs.
Senators struggle. Senators struggle. That's
orderlies.
what we're hearing.
God, it's a hard life, isn't it?
That's what we're hearing.
The poverty, man.
160 million SUV is sacrifice.
It's a very hard life.
I mean, what do we want others to say?
Hard life. Big fat salary. Was it not Senator's salary that Shehu Sani revealed that put him in trouble?
Yes.
Sacrifice. Right. What else should we say? You see, let me tell you what happens. Have you ever wondered why, when you check Nigeria's Gini coefficient, there looks like a level of stability in our Gini coefficient numbers? Because since we returned to democracy, political patriotism and political privileges and positions have increased, so they've mopped a lot more people in. A lot more Nigerians have gone into politics as a way for their livelihoods. Ojy, I put it to you that if there's no money in politics, they will not go into it. They will not kill to get there. It is also plausible that when they leave power, they will get broke. You know why? Because they've set a lifestyle for themselves and they are unproductive people. There is no production going in their personal lives. And when you have money kept in the bank, you don't have more money coming into it. What do? You spend it all. But to say that they are not making money, I dare the people that say that they are sacrificing, I dare them to release how much they got in constituency projects. And if they are sacrificing so much, they should leave the Senate, offer to leave, so that poor, hungry Nigerians too can come and sacrifice. They will not leave. Till today, they say the House does not give them money. But we had a case of off your mic, and we did not hear what transpired with the NDDC funds any longer. So when these people are saying they sacrifice, in other words, is gaslighting the Nigerian people.
Yes, that's really what it is.
It's just like saying to me that, as we speak, Jamie Delap is a Nigerian striker. We know he's not Nigerian. So that's the kind of lie they tell. But they will never come out straight. And the money they have made, they will not be able to account for it because they are not productive.
Right.
Ojy, in this country, I know people that it was night bus they took to Abuja when they went to resume. But today, you need to see their fleet of cars. I know people, night bus they took to go to resume in the National Assembly. They had nothing before they got in there. But when they left, you need to see the cars and the exotic lifestyle they live.
This is it.
So from night bus to car, and they say their lives are not getting better. Yeah. Sacrifice.
All right, Rufai.
I'm trying to sing Elton John
you've made the point. I mean, we are on this table. We send our condolences
to the senator involved.
Kaduna Senator Khaled Zagi, and of course, like we have said on this table, politicians should have a second office. We'll take another story now. The federal government has expressed concern over the recent decision by the United States to impose stricter visa restrictions on Nigerian citizens, deeming the move unfair and disproportionate. Effective July 8th, the U.S. Department of State announced that most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas for Nigerians will be limited to a 3-month validity period with a single entry, a significant reduction from the previous 5-year multiple entry visas. The federal government argues that the decision is misaligned with principles of reciprocity, equity, and mutual respect that should guide bilateral engagements between friendly nations. Nigeria has urged the United States to reconsider the decision in the spirit of partnership and cooperation. Well, we know that diplomatic engagements are currently on the way to resolve the issue. The Minister of Interior, Olubumitunji Ojo, met with Richard Mills, the United States ambassador to Nigeria on Wednesday in Abuja. The minister said that they, had a constructive meeting and both countries agreed to strengthen collaboration. So we'll follow up on that. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted leaders from 5 West African nations, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal at the White House on Wednesday. The discussions primarily focused on strengthening economic development, trade, and investment opportunities between the U.S. and these African countries, as well as security cooperation. Well, a video that has now gone viral from the meeting featured the moment President Trump asked Liberian President where he learned how to speak English. Let's take a look.
We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. That's beautiful English.
Sure.
You know why this video went viral, right? Our favorite international correspondent, I'll come to you on this story. I mean, we've seen different excerpts from this meeting with these 5, leaders from these West African countries. I mean, when this meeting was announced, there was the conversation whether or not Tinubu was invited or wasn't. But me, I would say that if our president was there are some good sound bites that we will get from it. That's all I want to say. I trust our president. If he was there, sorry, I'm not shading any president. But when you hear things like the Senegalese president saying, please come and play golf in my country, and you hear these sorts of things. But Donald Trump here, is he learned or not? Like, how can you ask a president where he learned how to speak such good English? Go ahead.
I think so. It's a terrible faux pas, right? Because as we discussed earlier, it shows that he's not even aware of the history of Liberia. Yes. One, that it's an English-speaking country. And then the ties Liberia actually has to the United States. Their flags are actually very similar because of the ties. So it is laughable to some extent. Yes. But I do think, as I was saying earlier, that yes, this is an example of just a lack of respect and just, as you said, a lack of learnedness. You should know better. You should literally know better. But I do think that this could have been a situation where, because so many other of the leaders were speaking different languages, that when the president of Liberia spoke, perhaps he was taken aback by the slight American accent. Who knows? But that being said, and it's not, I don't want to make a habit out of it because, let's not do that. But I think just to balance it out, like perhaps, because when we were listening to the international feedback, a lot of people were very offended, and rightfully so. And he had the White House come out and say that what he was trying to do was extend a compliment, not that he was trying to disrespect or denigrate the languages spoken on the African continent or the president himself. But, as my colleagues will say, they were not happy. Many people were not happy with the general outing of all of the different ones. And I agree with you. If our own president was sitting at that table, he wouldn't have accepted that as a compliment.
Deals would have been made right there and then. Just in 5 minutes, Rufai, you're smiling. Just quick comment, then we move to the next story.
Femi, I appreciate you so much, but that was just insult. That was condescending on us.
Complete.
The truth is,
I mean, the sort of
just
comments,
like me
I
going
can't
there and
even bring them
Trump.
out. Yeah.
Because really, if I met President Trump, I could have also asked him, how did you become president? Like in an America where the last president was senator for so many years, international policy person, the president before that was an Harvard graduate. You had the likes of Clinton. I'm not saying they don't have their fault. So you had cerebral people. But how did you, Trump, become president? Because you look like an aberration among the lot of them all.
And how do you think he would have replied to you?
So that's exactly the way what he said to Liberia president looked like to me.
Yeah.
Because
so why do you think the Liberian president didn't respond in the same way you think Trump would have responded to a question like that?
What did the Liberian president say? He said, thank you, sir.
I don't think he heard him.
He said, thank you, sir.
And I don't think he heard him. He said, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think he heard what he said.
He heard it, but the subservient nature of the Liberian president, the next thing, he said, thank you, sir, for a man that is older than.
I don't think
he said thank you, sir. That's what he said. So it's just like me saying, how did Trump become president?
Yes.
Because it fits. It's a
That's
valid
what you should have said, actually. When you asked me, how do you speak English so well? I don't know. Why did you tell me how you became president?
With due respect, African leaders, now for their people, they get power now.
Oh no.
It's on their people. Look at Ruto telling people to go and shoot at his citizens at the leg. Yeah. It's only on their citizens they have power. When they get to the White House, they're not born the Liberian president where to talk back to Trump. That's the problem of colonialism, is the mindset. Femi, we're not both saying it on air that you see that if you get to the airport today, an average Nigerian, the way they are so nice to a white person is different from the way they will treat you, fellow black person.
Yes.
It's colonial mindset.
In the supermarket, everything.
That's just what we are saying. They're not born away to talk back.
In countries like Zimbabwe, South Africa, we still have a large white population. We even have, nationals who are white, white Zimbabweans and white South Africans and so forth. And this is one of the things that you would find in school specifically, is that there's some white families who you'd go up and you'd greet them. Maybe one of the white kids is a friend of yours, and you'd go and greet their parents, say, oh, good afternoon. And oh, you speak such good English. And you're going to the same school, and you're going to the same school as their children. So it kind of echoes this. If you've ever been on the receiving end of racism and racist slurs, racism these days is no longer what it used to be. It's no longer outrage. It's very subtle, very just little moments that would make you walk away and think.
Chip it in nicely. It was so condescending.
It was extremely condescending. It's a compliment, but it was condescending.
No, it was very condescending.
This was condescending.
It's an admission that you don't think that he could speak English. And why would you assume that he couldn't speak English? And
Liberia is an English-speaking country.
No, I think he assumes he can speak English, but the assumption is that if you're an African, your English should have K-leg.
I mean, I can't even make an excuse, but I really appreciate your excuse. You really did a good
job.
No, for him. Not you. No, you're not accept. Hey, did you notice that she did not support Donald Trump? But you know what? Yesterday was the meeting. I guess we'll get more excerpts from, some of the bilateral relations that they're
expecting too much.
No, I'm sure that there will be. I mean, we cannot, put down our African presidents too much. I'm sure that we'll get some more conversation. They should come home. I'm sure they will. This is my own benefit of the doubt.
Ojy,
why not?
I know.
All right.
They put themselves down, not us. It's not us now. What we are just helpless citizens that they can use police to harass on the road now.
We'll get more. But like I said, I'm sure if Jagaban was there, he would have been different. All right, let's take another story now. Garba Shehu, former spokesperson to ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, launched his book titled According to the President, Lessons from a Presidential Spokesman Experience on Wednesday at the Shehu Musa Yaradua Center in Abuja. The event saw a notable gathering of political figures from across different divides, including former Vice Presidents Atiku Abubakar and Yemi Osibajo, former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, and former military head of state Yakubu Gowon. The book offers insights into Shehu's experiences as a presidential spokesperson and reflects on Nigeria's political landscape during his tenure. Dignitaries, including the editor-in-chief of the state newspapers and Arise News, Prince Nduka Obaigbena, gave an account of Buhari's leadership style and key achievements of his administration. Let's take a look.
I also remember that as a journalist, I was the last to interview then General Muhammadu Buhari as head of state. I was working for Time magazine in New York. After the interview, I flew to New York to have the interview published in 19 85. So as I laid out the interview as it was those days, the editor of Time magazine called me. Said, do you think this interview will be published? I said, yes. But they just did a coup in Nigeria. So that was another momentous day for 25 years of Nigeria. So as with Garba Shehu, we're all witnesses to history. And Garba told the story of his witness statement using the eyes of Buhari today. Garba is a formidable journalist who has gone through hell and high water and climbed the mountain top in the service of Nigeria.
All right, fantastic. That is our chairman there, Prince Nduka Obaigbe. I mean, I thought that was a good lesson that he shared there. I remember that, we did interview the president. I believe that we were about the first media house to interview former President Muhammadu Buhari after a few years in office. But, at the end of the day, the important aspect of that event is that writing books is a very important aspect of our history. The book is also intended to inspire journalism and public relations students and professionals, and of course, to shed light on Buhari's leadership style. A quick comment, your takeaway from that event.
I mean, unfortunately, I haven't read the book yet.
Yes.
But so far, the reviews coming in have sparked a lot of conversation, specifically around the legacy of President Muhammadu Buhari. The front pages of the newspaper today are, aligned with the comment from Boss Mustafa, who, spoke glowingly, understandably so, about President Buhari. For me, I thought was just a little bit of a troublemaking as we go into politicking season around the power of CPC and how he was saying that, CPC on itself and Buhari on his own was worth 12 million votes, and that everybody who came along and joined ACN and APGA and so forth only brought 3 million votes. So, it's the might of the 12 million votes of the CPC bloc and Buhari that ultimately won him the election. Well, that's going to open a lot of discussion, a lot of conversation, because like we're seeing now repeatedly, when people tend to write these autobiographies and so forth, it can come across as revisionist in terms of our history. We also have to contextualize and remember that, yes, as much as they're autobiographies, there's also the need for us to ensure that our history is documented in an unemotional, objective way, so that these conversations don't become what people reference in 50 or 100 years as fact, because this is somebody's perspective and opinion.
I love that point. I make sure that our history is documented. I mean, this is really kudos to our dignitaries, our politicians who write books for our future generation. Talking about documenting history, we'll take our story under milestones now. Nigeria's cinematic history is set to be permanently preserved as the National Film and Video Censors Board is set to release the first ever comprehensive catalogue of registered Nigerian films. Well, this monumental initiative announced by the Film Board promises to fill a significant void in Nollywood's rich yet often undocumented past. The multi-volume publication will systematically list all films and videos registered and classified in Nigeria since the inception of the video era. The first volume will highlight a crucial decade in Nollywood's formative years and is slated for release in September. This groundbreaking project is a major win for researchers, journalists, film enthusiasts, and the industry at large, who have long struggled with the lack of a centralized, publicly accessible filmography. It will provide invaluable year-by-year data, offering much-needed clarity and validation to the growth and transformation of Nigerian cinema. The first Nigerian feature film, Palava, a silent film directed by Geoffrey Barkas, was shot in northern Nigeria in 1926. All right, I thought to research what the first Nigerian feature film, and that was Palava. I think this is such a great, brilliant initiative by the Film Board, because the initiative marks a significant milestone for Nigeria's cultural memory and lays a solid foundation for Nollywood's future in the global digital landscape. I don't know, we don't have time for our good news report. I'd like for us to quickly discuss this. I think this is beautiful.
I want to just quickly celebrate Dr. Shaibu Hussaini, who's at the head of the NFVCB at the moment and has done incredibly well in transforming, the board and just getting it progressive and bringing it to global standards. So for me, it's just congratulations to Dr. Shaibu Hussaini.